have just gone green here at Spa for qualifying at number 3 at round number 6 of the 2020 Euroformula Open. First cars out on track here today are going to be the Euroformula Open cars. It's very foggy out there. It's very cold out there as well. It's going to be tricky conditions in just 2 degrees of air temperature for the drivers. My name's Chris McCarthy. Thank you very much for joining us. This is going to be qualifying number 3. We've got 2 races coming up for you today. They will go green at 11:25 and at 3:20. This is the qualifying that we are setting that grid for. The grid for race number 2 was set yesterday, and we had our first race of the weekend yesterday as well. It was a pretty good one. I'm sure any of you that were tuned in would agree with that. A battle for the lead all the way to the end, a battle for the final step on the podium that ended quite dramatically and has had ramifications coming in to today as well for Zay Maloney, who was involved in that, as we're given a 5th-place grid job for the next race after an incident with Niklas Kruten when they battled for the podium positions going in to the last corner. That incident actually opened the door for Ido Cohen to get his first podium of the season. He kept them honest all the way through, did Ido Cohen, kept himself in the fight, and when those two collided, he was able to pick up a much-deserved first podium. He's deserved a podium on several occasions this season, so it was about time that he had some good fortunes go his way. The result from yesterday, though, out front, the 2 Crypto Tower Racing teammates were battling for the lead with each other, and not for the first time. Yifei and Lucas Dunner. Lucas Dunner, the one who has won the most in terms of head-to-heads between those two, but Yifei fought back this time to get his first win since the first race at Monza and further extend his championship lead out front. He now sits on 269 points. Lucas Dunner on 175, but we do need to take into account that Lucas Dunner has not been here for the whole championship. Ido Cohen, as we said, the Carlin driver rounding out the podium. Andreas Essner finished in 4th place, only just about beating Cameron Daz to the line. Cameron Daz put in one of the performances of the race, driving through from 14th on the grid to 5th place. Manuel Maldonado pulled off one of the moves of the season going into turn 1 when he overtook 2 drivers into there and followed it up with a side-by-side Ado Rouge as well. That helped him to a 6th place finish. Louis Foster and Benjamin Pedersen, the RR teammates, racing in the championship for the very first time and racing at Spa for the very first time, finished in 7th and 8th. Those two start a little bit higher up the grid today as well, but this is the race that they've been having their eye on. Speaking to Louis Foster anyway, he said race number 3 is what we are focusing towards, getting a really good result in. So let's see how he goes in this one. He qualified 5th in the 2nd qualifying session yesterday. Sebastian Essner was the top rookie and he finished in 9th place. Glenn Van Berlo continues to score points at every single race and was 10th. Rui Andrade 11th. Nicolas Kruten after that incident was 12th. Alexandre Bardignon was 13th place. Zay Maloney was in 14th place. Sadly, we did not see Matthias Luton. His teammate, by the way, Glenn Van Berlo, started from the pit lane, so considering there were no safety cars, a very good drive to get through to 10th place, and he's been showing very good pace here this weekend. Was due to start on the 3rd row yesterday, so let's see how he goes. Well, just joining me in the commentary box is Elliot Wood. Elliot, what have you been finding out overnight in terms of the Euroformula Open Championship? A dramatic end yesterday, but a good race nevertheless.
Yeah, the penalty decision between Zay Maloney and Niklas Kruten, that didn't come in until 5 hours after the race, so that was a very long time to find. And I caught up with Drivix School, which runs Matthias Luton and Glenn Van Berlo, and they said the plan was never to actually enter Matthias in these races.
Okay.
It was just more test experience by doing qualifying. As we see, what Glenn Van Berlo going side by side with Lucas Dunner there into the final chicane. So those are the main things that picked up in the paddock last night. Whilst a lot of people were complaining it was cold, it was 3 degrees, which, you know, is usual for us in Britain. But I think a lot of the overseas racers were a bit disappointed by how cold it was last night.
Yeah.
And how cold it is this morning. It's 3 degrees.
Well, I think any of our Spanish F4 graduates will not be used to this, and at other races this year it's been a lot better conditions. This has by far been the most tricky conditions in terms of the in terms of the temperature at least anyway, Mugello was a complete washout, wasn't it? As we see the drivers now heading up Eau Rouge and down the Kemmel Straight. Well, what are we going to expect from this session? The score is that they will go out, do their first stint, come back in, change tyres, and then go back out again. And each of those stints, they'll probably get 2 to 3 laps at full pace. You know, it's a 25-minute session. The lap time round here is around 2 minutes and 15 seconds if you're going to be on pole position, 2 minutes 14 even as well. So it takes a while to get round here. 3 flying laps plus an out lap and in lap. You know, you're pushing towards over 10 minutes there. So 2 stints is what they will usually do. Some drivers only did the 1 stint yesterday. The only problem with doing that is, of course, any red flags. The clock will stop ticking if there is a red flag. And one thing we did see in the first qualifying session yesterday was when the first red flag came out from Matthias Luton, the clock stopped ticking at 3:41, and then we had everyone queued up at the end of the pit lane to go out. And we effectively then went into a 1-lap shootout, everyone on low fuel, new sets of tyres, and it was a really fascinating end to the session. Currently we are following Clem van Berlo, one of the most consistent drivers in the championship so far this season. Well, he's done incredibly well. He's one of very few drivers to score points in every single race this season. Nicholas Cruton was another driver to have done that, but that incident for him yesterday kind of stopped that run. So Clem van Berlo is one of few on that list who has been able to do that, joining some of the likes of Yiffy Yi, the championship leader. As we make our way now down towards turn number 1, cars just coming through pit lane. I see Rui Andrade going past me under the commentary box, Clem van Berlo likewise. So Yiffy Yi has gone to the top, 2:11.899. So 2:12 for Alexandre Bardignon. Benjamin Pedersen has just done a 2:12.298. Andreas Essner a 2:12.4 as they make their way down the Kemmel Straight once more. Looking back at qualifying 1 yesterday, it was a 2:09 that was pole there. It was a 2:08 that was actually pole in qualifying 2. So that's the, not 2:15, that's the kind of pace you want to get towards if you want to set the fastest lap in this session. 2:08s is where they were in the second session yesterday, but 2:09s in similar conditions in qualifying 1. So that could be what we're looking towards. At 2:11, I'd say we're not at pole position pace just yet. Cars still getting themselves up to speed, drivers likewise, and we've got a good few still in pit lane. But we are following Lucas Dunner on screen currently. He has taken both pole positions so far this weekend. Let's see if he can make it a hat-trick as he makes his way up towards the right-hander now at turn 13. Andreas Essner also going quickest on this lap as well. He is in trail, so there's Lucas Dunner at the top of screen. There is Andreas Essner as they now come through Stavelot. Most drivers have done 3 flyers so far. We haven't seen much of Ido Cohen just yet. Just the 1 lap for him so far. In the pits, we've got the likes of Maldonado, Cohen, Daz and driver, and Berlo ignore Matthias Luton because he will not be racing, as Elliott says. He's done everything that he was planning to do now this weekend in practice and qualifying as they go in towards the chicane. Through the right-hander now into the left and out of the chicane and down the start-finish straight. There goes Lucas Dunner up to the line. Let's see what he does. It's a 2:11.2 for his teammate and a 2:11.4 for Lucas Dunner, a 2:12 for Andreas Essner. So Andreas Essner goes to 3rd with that. Alexandre Bardignon currently in 4th place. And we've got Benjamin Pedersen and Louis Foster, the double R teammates. They battled with each other yesterday, actually. They were overtaking each other down the Kemmel Straight on plenty of occasions. Here is Nicholas Cruton making his way up Eau Rouge. Ahead of him, that's maybe Sebastian Essner as they go past. I think that's Andreas, actually, as they make their way now down the Kemmel Straight. You can see... of course it is, there's Lucas Dunner, Andreas Essner in chase. Nicholas Cruton is in chase of him. Round Les Combes now, and this is where we're going to see track limit penalties being handed out. So that corner there, you have to You can't go completely all 4 wheels off there. They've been really strict about that this weekend. You've got to have your outside wheels still on, still over the white line. It's something they've been very strict on. You'll see there's other parts of the circuit, particularly down at Stavolo, where you are allowed to use lots of runoff. You're allowed to use all of it, bar the gravel, basically, which you don't want to use anyway. But essentially, up until the gravel, you can use all of that. And I was speaking to Louis Foster about this. He's one of the British drivers, and they're a lot more strict in the UK when it comes to track limits. You've got to have your outside wheels have got to be over the white line on the exit. So there you can see, look, they can go all 4 wheels off there. They will not get penalised for that at all. The main corners that they are focusing on is turn 9 at the exit of Lake Combe. That's one of the main corners that they are focusing on. The chicane as well, they were given penalties. Anneau Rouge as well, you've got to be careful going up there. If you use all 4 wheels going up the top to the right before they're left onto the Kemmel Straight, then you can get penalised there as well. I was speaking to Double R Racing about this, and those are the places they are very strict at. That's where the guys are being careful. But in British FE, which Louis Foster races in and Benjamin Pedersen races in, over in the UK they are very strict. It's kind of every corner, that's the rule. And if you break it, a place like Brands Hatch, they have detectors, so they'll know as soon as you've broken track limits, and automatically that will be a warning or a track or a time penalty, lap deletion perhaps. So that's what happens. If you go wide at turn 9, that lap gets deleted straight away. And Louis Foster was saying to me that it was hard to get used to using more track limits than you usually would. I guess when you when you've been used to being so cautious of track limits everywhere, and all of a sudden you come to a track and they say, no, you can go all 4 wheels off there, you can go all 4 wheels off there. It's probably hard to get used to that mentally. Of course, you can drive the car there and use more speed, no problem. He's very much capable of doing that, but mentally getting past that, to do that in some places but not others, is quite tricky for these guys, particularly in these conditions. As Elliot will tell us, you lose tyre temperature down the Kemmel Straight. That is where, when you get to Lake Combe, it's very easy to run wide on the exit, the fast right-hander.
Yeah, we have a ban on kind of weaving for tyre warming in this championship, so you can't regain that heat down the long straights. You basically just lose all the temperature that you've built into the rubber and temperature in the brakes as well, which means when they do get to the combes, it does get a bit interesting. And while you also get an advantage with the slipstream, the actual wake of the dirty air and the cold as well makes you have less grip on the actual track surface as well going down the straight behind another car. So it kind of evens out. But at the same time, you just always have to be careful, because Lake Combe is also the #1 place for track limit offences at this track, and therefore the #1 place where you're going to have your lap deleted.
And we're looking at Manuel Maldonado here. Anyone that follows Manuel Maldonado on Instagram would have seen the video of the overtake he did into La Source yesterday, which you were speaking on that at that point when that happened. What did you make of that move?
Well, actually, what you made in the move was you didn't think he meant to make it.
I don't think he did, but he told me he did.
I think he did mean to make it, and I based that off his initial entry to the corner, and then realising, oh, I'm already actually side by side with these 2 drivers, I may as well brake later and hug the apex. And because it gets so much tighter, every car wants to get to the inside of that corner. If you've already got your car there, the other 2 cars can't do anything about it. So that was a good job for him. I think he's been a bit unlucky this season, often with track limits in qualifying. He's currently down in 13th place, half a minute off pole position. But in reality, his pace is, right up there. I think quite a few times he's had well, in free practice actually, he was quickest and he had that lap taken away. At the Red Bull Ring, he had quite a few laps taken away as well. So if he keeps it between the white lines, we know he can be at the front and he can start adding to his podium tally.
Yeah, I have to hold my hands up on that one. That was just a well-executed move. Duarte Felix da Costa said, did you like the move? I said, I don't know if he meant it. And he said, oh, yeah, he did. And then Manuel Maldonado came over to me and said, I told you I was going to make it good fun for you, because he did a move around the outside of the chicane as well, which is a brilliant move down there. So he's been putting on a show for us this weekend, has Manuel Maldonado. Impressive stuff, wasn't it? If you want to go and see it, go and check the highlights out on our YouTube channel. It was, would you say, move of the season? I mean,
second best move of the season. We did see one at Monza, although obviously that is Monza, which was particularly brilliant. I think that was between Esner and possibly one of the Crypto Tower cars.
was it round the outside at Parabolica?
Yes, it was. A classic in Euroformula terms. Probably one of the best single-seater overtakes of all time was Leonardo Pulcini, final lap, Monza Race 2, title decider 2016. Racing drivers still watch that clip over and over again to learn how to make an overtake at that corner.
Go and watch it then.
Absolutely. But we need to keep on watching this session first. We've still got Yiffy Ye out in front by 0.155 seconds. Lucas Dunner, second place. In qualifying yesterday, they were split by 0.045 and 0.022. And the margin in the race was 0.488. So, what, 9 times larger in the race, but over 14 laps. So, ridiculously close these teammates are. And they're not doing any kind of strategy in qualifying anymore because that didn't work in favour equally, you could say, between the two drivers at Monza. So they're now kind of going solo efforts with their chances of taking pole. Now, Dunner has taken the last 2 poles. There's a spin for Alexander Bardignon. And he stays out of harm's way, so, you know, good save there. I think that, the tyres are pretty much flat spotted there, so probably won't get any quicker lap times out of that, although he is in 4th place at the moment, 0.9 seconds off pole position.
Now tell us exactly how effective a flat spot is in these cars.
Because the Dallara 320 chassis is so stiff and it's so lightweight, if you have especially the flat spots we saw there, you're going to get a lot of vibration, and at one point the vibrations basically become too dangerous because the car is set up to be so stiff, and it's going to ruin your visibility if your head's kind of shaking around. But also it means when you do hit the brakes again, as we just see Rory Andrade kind of demonstrate, you're more likely to have further lockups, more likely to take more life out of the tyre, more likely to have more flat spots, and it's just kind of like a degenerative cycle of your rubber. So it's easy to just go into the pits and get another set on.
Did you get a chance to speak to Zane yesterday? I mean, he didn't look
I tried talking to the team, but it was just as they were about to do the kind of penalty decision stuff, so I didn't really get to have a conversation. But we can safe to say that Ido finished 3rd and he didn't look very happy when we saw him in pit lane. Zane definitely wasn't very happy, and Nicholas was certainly not happy either. And he's won, I think, the last 4 rookie classification wins prior to yesterday when Sebastian Esner won. So.
Yeah, he was leading the rookie standings. He was in the points every single race. And now there's only a few drivers that have done it, and one of them is Glenn Van Berlo, actually. I think Yiffy is the only other to have recorded that record, so that's a pretty impressive statistic for a rookie. Glenn Van Berlo in just his 2nd year of single-seaters. I remember commentating on him as a kart driver back in 2015 in Belgium, and crazy to see that he's actually taller than me now. Benjamin Pedersen is on screen now. We're still building up, by the way. You'll see those times are not reflective of what we're going to see by the end of the session, because we had about 1.6 seconds between the entire field towards the end of qualifying 2 yesterday. Qualifying 1, we had just over a second between the top 11. So it's going to be very close, no doubt. So we're still gearing up for, I guess, the real start to this session. We've officially got underway about 20 minutes ago, but like a lot of qualifying sessions in single-seaters, it doesn't really get going until they go for their final runs, their final 2 flying laps, and then that's when we really start to see the timing screens light up. We're still 2 seconds off the times that we did in the first qualifying yesterday at exactly the same time.
Although Maldonado has finally just improved to 2-minute 15.770. Rui Andrade up to 3rd place as well, 0.398 seconds off. Everyone else hasn't matched their pre-pit stop pace. So potentially the track isn't actually getting any warmer. The clouds certainly got lower since we've arrived. Zane Maloney's just gone up to Glenn Van Berlo, now 2nd. Yiffy Ye back up 2nd. Louis Foster's now on provisional pole. 3 pretty brilliant sectors there. He's in 2-minute 10.46, so we're still 2 seconds off what we're expecting to see. But lap times now definitely are going down as Rui Andrade has does actually have that lap deleted for track limits at Eau Rouge.
And we're going to see that a lot of times. You've got to be really careful. Here's Louis Foster coming up Eau Rouge then. He's going to have a slipstream going down the Kemmel Straight, but that's on Glenn Van Berlo. But by the time we get to the end of it, if Glenn Van Berlo's on a flyer, then he's going to really struggle for the remainder of this lap as he goes down towards the towards Lake Coombe, and defending almost there was Glenn Van Berlo. Louis Foster does get through, and now he'll be able to go off for the rest of the lap. He would have gained a lot of time. I think he might gain more time than he would have lost in having to make that move, and you can see the gap he's already pulled out on Glenn Van Berlo, who's not really on a flying lap this time as he comes around Bruxelles and down towards turn 11. Fast downhill left-hander, got to be careful on the exit.
And Lucas Dunner crosses the line to reclaim provisional pole, 2:09.6 now. It's almost half a second up on Das, who's just gone into second. Louis Foster third. Cruton's improved to fourth. Zane Maloney down in seventh. His grid penalty will apply to race 2, whereas this is the qualifying session for race 3.
Yes,
so
and he qualified third for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
We qualified well up the field.
Louis Foster going faster again, fastest of anyone through the first sector. Is he going to get held up by Maloney later in this lap, though?
Here we go then, Louis Foster. Let's follow him for this lap. Dunner's leading the way. Daz, Foster, Cruton, Yee, Van Berlo, Maloney, Esner, Bardignon. We've got the timing screens now lighting up. We've got Maldonado having just gone up to second place, 2:09.9. We've got Cameron Daz improving. Louis Foster's on screen improving. Yifiyeh's improving as well. Zane Maloney also improving very well on this lap. He's the car just ahead of us, so let's see what he does first as they make their way around the final chicane. Zane Maloney will come up to the line. Louis Foster will follow him. He's on our screen as we go now out of the chicane, and Maloney improves and goes to fourth place. Here comes Louis Foster, and he goes top. 2:09.423 for Louis Foster to put himself on provisional pole, but we are still waiting for Lucas Dunner to come to the line. We're still waiting for Cameron Daz to come to the line as well. Andreas Esner now goes up to third place, 2:09.9. So we are really getting towards a potential pole time here as they're coming in towards turn number 1 is Yifiyeh to set off on another flying lap. He's just improved, and he's done a 2:09.1 to put himself back to the top. Downhill and towards Eau Rouge, Yifiyeh now leads. Louis Foster second. They're going to get one more lap at the end of this one. Lucas Dunner has gone personal best through the first sector, as is Cameron Daz, as is Manuel Maldonado. Zane Maloney improving as Nicholas Cruton, sorry, improving through the second sector as well. You can see the gaps now starting to shrink. 2.2 between the top 11 is starting to get a little bit closer, and Lucas Dunner 2:08.9. So that's about half a second off the quickest time we saw in qualifying yesterday. Nicholas Cruton, we said to watch for him. He's gone to 5th place. So Nicholas Cruton, that a good lap from him. Makes him the top rookie in the session so far, as Yifiyeh not the quickest through the first sector, but a personal best, and he only needs to find 1.5 tenths on this lap. Who else is improving on this lap? Benjamin Pedersen has actually just gone pretty quick through the first sector, so we'll keep an eye on him. Sebastian Esner is about to hit the line very shortly, and he's done 2 personal bests as well, as has Rui Andrade, and he's not far from the line either. So they may be 6 seconds back so far, but they're about to start setting their first real flyers, and Rui Andrade, his will take him up to 9th place. Sebastian Esner about to cross the line as well. Ido Cohen has gone to 11th place. There goes Sebastian Esner across the line now, and he is going to go to 11th place as we are following Yifiyeh here, making his way down towards Blanchimont. Yifiyeh in a fight with Lucas Dunner for pole position. Lucas Dunner, 2 to his name so far. Zane Maloney crosses the line, goes 9th. Louis Foster has just crossed the line. Drivers crossing the line just ahead of me, but next is going to be Yifiyeh as he makes his way now through the final chicane. You can tell he's really pushing as he makes his way up to the start-finish line. Andreas Esner goes 6th, Benjamin Pedersen goes 5th, and Yifiyeh goes pole, 2:08.550, and that puts Yifiyeh to the top. But Lucas Dunner about to cross the line. He's making his way down towards Blanchimont for what should be the penultimate time. We've had a time deletion for Zane Maloney. That's dropped him back down to 11th, so he's going to have it all to do on this flying lap, on this final lap, and he's going slower on this lap as well, so he's got a lot of work now to do in the final 2 sectors. The checkered flag is waving here through the final corner comes Lucas Dunner. He's got to find over 0.4 of a second, but he's been setting personal best sectors, but it's not going to be enough. Lucas Dunner will not take 3 pole positions. It could be 2 third places for Cameron Daz. Up to the line next and crossing the line is Nicholas Cruton, who will be 7th at best. So we're still waiting for the likes of Louis Foster. Benjamin Pedersen is going quicker on this lap, so he could be one to watch. Also going quicker is Glenn Van Berlo. He's the car in the back of picture, I believe. We're just going to pick up now. The number 12 here has gone quickest of anyone through the first sector. What a performance this could be from Glenn Van Berlo. Absolutely flying round here. This is his very first time to the track for the rookie, and he seems to be really enjoying it. He's gone green through the second sector. Let's see what Glenn Van Berlo can do. His second sector was pretty good, actually. May not have been the quickest of anyone, but it wasn't bad at all, as we see Manuel Maldonado go up to 6th place. Next to cross the line look to be one of the Carlin drivers, Inido Cohen. Rui Andrade is coming to the pits. Then coming up to the line is going to be Yifei Ye next. We've got Glenn Van Berlo just about to come out of the final chicane. Right, he sits in 9th place. Where's the rookie going to go? Zay Maloney has gone to 10th. Where's Glenn Van Berlo going to be when he crosses the line? He heads up to the start-finish line now, and Glenn Van Berlo at 209.7 puts him in 9th place. Doesn't improve in the end. The checker flag is waving. Andreas Essner will be in 7th place. Benjamin Pedersen will be in 5th place. And Yifei Ye, with a further improvement on the final lap, takes pole position at 208.447, Elliot.
A great result by the Crypto Tower Racing team again. Half a second between them this time, so quite a bigger margin than we've seen over the previous 2 days. Cameron Dass in 3rd place again. He's really kind of got in the zone at this circuit. He's been in top 4 in qualifying for all 3 races. Had a very good race performance in race 1, and he'll be starting in the front for the next 2 races. I think his last podium was either here or Monza, as we see our results come up. Yifei Ye on pole, 2 minutes 8.447. Lucas Dunner 2nd place, 2 minute 8.969. Cameron Dass in 3rd, top motor park driver. Louis Foster and Benjamin Pedersen both on their debut weekend in this series in 4th and 5th. Manuel Maldonado in 6th place. Andreas Essner, top Van Amersfoort racing driver, in 7th. Nicholas Cruton in motor park in 8th. Glenn Van Berlo for driver at school in 9th. And Zane Maloney rounds out the top 10 with a 2 minute 10.027.
Well, considering it was 2 hours later yesterday, qualifying 2, we are just 1/10 slower than, well, we're not 1/10, sorry, 100th slower than the time we did yesterday. It was a 208.431 that was the pole yesterday, a 208.447. I think Lucas Dunner will be quite disappointed with that time. He may be 2nd, but he was some half a second off, so I don't think he's going to be pleased with the time. Result maybe, but he'll want to be a lot closer than that in times. Cameron Daz will be happy with that. He got put to the back of the grid for the first race yesterday. Qualified very well for the second race, which will be coming up first. And he's qualified well here today, so he's given himself a chance, the American, of 2 podiums. Louis Foster and Benjamin Pedersen, as Elliot says, hugely impressive stuff. This is the race that they had their eye on, and Louis Foster has given himself a very good chance at a podium. Likewise, Benjamin Pedersen. Maldonado 6th. He is also in the fight for a potential podium come that last race today. Andreas Essner 7th. Consistent as ever, always in and around that top 3. Nicholas Cruton, top rookie. Glenn Van Berlo can continue that run of top 10 results with 9th place. Maloney will be disappointed with 10th. Lap time deletions seem to be going against him today. Rui Andrade 11th, Sebastian Essner in 12th. Ido Cohen, a very disappointing 13th place. Didn't quite work out for him today. Alexandre Bardignon rounds out the field. Still a driver that has only a year or 2 under his belt in terms of racing altogether, so he's been playing catch-up ever since he jumped in a car, Alexandre Bardignon. So here's your top 3 then. Cameron Daz, for the 2nd time this weekend, is going to start from 3rd place on the grid. The American putting in a great performance there. 2nd place, he's going to be on the front row. Not quite the hat-trick of pole positions he wanted, but Lucas Dunner nevertheless gives himself a chance at taking the win. And it was 2nd place that Yifei Ye took the win from yesterday. Yifei, the aforementioned there, he's going to be on pole position, won the first race yesterday, starts on the front row for the second race first up, and will start from pole position where he could be set for a hat-trick of wins. Yifei climbs out of the car, and pole position for him, Elliot. But the question is, where do you want to start? Because it was second place yesterday that Yifei had the lead by the time he got to the Camel Straight from second. So for Lucas Dunner, he may not actually be, I say he'll be disappointed with the time, but trying to take the positives from his point of view, you know, he might be in a good position to take the lead going up towards Leiku.
Yeah, this is something both drivers kind of picked out yesterday, and they said they'd rather be on second place so they can get this slipstream. But equally, they want to be on pole because that's an extra point. However, the gap between first and second in the race is 7 points, so I think you'd much rather be in a position to win the race rather than, you know, starting from pole and getting that extra point. In last race, we did see them battling throughout the race. The only time Dunner actually reclaimed the position was when he had to cut across the Leiku chicane, and he then gave the position back. So I think pole may be the best place to start. It basically all depends on lap one, doesn't it?
Yifei, pole position this morning at Spa in quite cool conditions.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday in Q1 and Q2 we were a bit unlucky. We missed the pole by like 2/400ths, and just because we didn't get a good toe. And today, this morning, I managed to get a good toe, and that's how I do. So very happy about that. Hopefully, we can do the same in race one this afternoon.
Track conditions this morning different from yesterday?
Not so much, I think. The track is more rubbered in, but it's cold this morning, so it's harder to get the temperature into the tires. But overall, it's really cool to drive. We are doing 2:08, which is really, really fast. So very happy about that.
Confident for the day?
Yeah, but I mean, races will not be easy. So as we have seen yesterday, so it will be a hard fight in both races. So very looking forward to that.
Thank you very much. Well done.
So 2 races coming up for you today. Then the first of them will be at 11:25 local time here in Belgium. The second at 3:20. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you then.